Hey there folks, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Man, I'm surprised it's been 2 years since I blogged the 2005 Peter Jackson remake of King Kong. And I also put Kong at number 12 on my top 13 scariest monsters in a live-action film list last year. Speaking of which, you may remember that during that list, I did say that Kong would come back to the big screen this year. Well, folks, that moment has finally arrived. But the question is this. Is this movie as good as the 2005 remake, or does it stink like the 1976 remake? Well, let's find out. Released on March 10th, 2017, the movie is Kong, Skull Island. Now let's get started. A diverse team of scientists, soldiers, and adventurers unite to explore a mythical, uncharted island in the South Pacific. As dangerous as it is beautiful, cut off from everything they know, the team ventures into the domain of the mighty Kong, igniting the ultimate battle between man and nature. As their mission of discovery becomes one of survival, they must fight to escape a primeval Eden in which humanity does not belong. So, how was this movie? Well, I thought that it was a really thrilling adventure. But in order to explain why I like this movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, Legendary Pictures announced in July 2014 at the San Diego Comic-Con a King Kong origin story initially titled Skull Island and listed a release date of November 4th, 2016, with Universal Pictures distributing. Legendary offered Joe Cornish the job of directing the film, while previous King Kong helmer Peter Jackson suggested Guillermo del Toro. In September 2014, the studio announced that Jordan Vogt Roberts would direct the movie. On December 12, 2014, the studio announced that they had retitled the film Kong Skull Island. On September 10, 2015, it was announced that Universal would let Legendary Pictures move Kong Skull Island to Warner Brothers, so they could do a King Kong and Godzilla crossover film, since Legendary still had the rights to do the 2 Godzilla sequels with Warner Brothers. Later, it was announced that the film's script had references to Monarch, the secret government entity in Godzilla 2014. Principal photography on the film began on October 19, 2015, and concluded on March 18, 2016. Filming took place in the northern portion of Vietnam, including Trang An, Van Long, and Tam Quoc, Ha Long Bay, and at the entrance of Tu Long Cave System, the islands of Oahu and Hawaii, and Australia's Gold Coast. Locations included Honolulu's Chinatown and the Kualoa Ranch and Waikane Valley in Oahu. In mid-January 2016, filming started on Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. Now, I gotta say that by watching this movie, it has nothing to do with the 1933 film or the 2005 remake, due to its time period taking place in the 70s. Plus, there are some great 70s hits that play throughout the movie. I also gotta say that Skull Island looks very breathtaking, but also dangerous at the same time. And I thought it was very interesting that the island was surrounded by a storm system and huge rocks. Also, not only does this island have natives and dinosaurs, but there are also giant water buffaloes and huge spiders with big pincers. But the most dangerous creature out of all of them are the skull crushers. And by looking at these beasts, Their faces almost make me think of a Pokemon called Cubone. I also learned that two of Hayao Miyazaki's films, Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away, were huge inspirations for the movie. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, let's talk about the cast of this movie. Now, let's begin with talking about the mighty Kong himself, who in this movie is motion captured by Terry Notary. Now, as everyone knows, Kong is a 100-foot-tall ape who's worshipped as the king and god of Skull Island by the Iwi natives. And I gotta say, this version of King Kong is pretty much similar, but different compared to how he was in the 2005 movie. Because he mostly walks around on 2 legs than 4. But on the positive side, he's just as ferocious at the time when I was introduced to him back in 1995. I especially like the scenes where he wrestles and eats a giant octopus, and when he battles a skull crusher near the end of the movie. Next we have James Conrad, played by Tom Hiddleston, best known as Loki from the Thor movies. He also got to play a young Captain Hook in The Pirate Fairy. Now, Conrad is a broken but noble former British Special Air Service captain who served in the Vietnam War. He's hired as a hunter-tracker for the expedition. Hiddleston described his character as a man who holds no political allegiance in the conflict, but understands conflict, further stating that he's a former soldier who has been formed by an understanding of war, but his specific skill set is something that's attached to the power of nature, and he thought that it was something people haven't seen in a long time. Next up is Preston Packer, a United States Army Lieutenant Colonel and leader of the Sky Devils helicopter squadron, played by Samuel L. Jackson, best known for being in the Star Wars prequels, Turbo, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and of course, The Incredibles. And, in case you're wondering, I'm excited for its sequel next year. Also to note, Jackson will also be in the upcoming Blazing Samurai movie this summer. Now, Packard is hired to chopper the group of explorers on the expedition. Jackson compared his character to Captain Ahab from Moby Dick, stating he does have to exact some measure of revenge for the people he's lost. That's just the nature of how we operate eye for an eye. Next is William Bill Randa, played by John Goodman, best known from The Emperor's New Groove, The Princess and the Frog, the Monsters, Inc. movies, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, The Jungle Book 2, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the movie, and Paranorman. Now, Bill is a senior official in the government organization Monarch, who is in charge of the expedition. Next is Mason Weaver, played by Brie Larson, whom I remember from Hoot. Mason is a feisty photojournalist and peace activist. Larson stated that her character has her own sort of motive as to why she joined the expedition, stating that's the interesting thing about this movie. It's a group of misfits that are all coming from different angles, looking at the same thing. You get to see how many different views in regards to nature and how they should handle it which are dealt with from how many different perspectives. Larson further added that Weaver has an interest and respect for nature, and through that she has a closer, more loving, and intimate relation with Kong. Kind of similar to Ann Darrow in a way. Finally, we have Hank Marlowe, played by John C. Reilly, who was in Cirque du Freak, 9, Sing, and of course, Wreck-It Ralph. And yes, I'm excited for this film's sequel too. Now, Hank is an eccentric lieutenant who spent 28 years stranded on Skull Island since World War II. He knows the creatures of the island, and he's a friend of the Iwi natives. In my opinion, this guy was a lot of fun. He was well trained with a sword, and he has some of the funniest lines in the whole movie. Now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Kong Skull Island has got to be a really thrilling movie. While it may not have anything to do with the original, the acting is badass, the creatures are frightening, a few of the characters are memorable, and Kong is just so darn awesome. So, if you're a fan of King Kong, then by all means you should check this movie out. And trust me, you'll all have a great time. I give this film, well, I'll give it a rating of 97% out of 100. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Be sure to join me next week for my St. Patrick's Day blog. Mustang Power!